Hey friends, Rob Phoenix, Powwow Guy here. Hope you're all doing well. Survived the rapture. That could be a good thing or a bad thing. But whatever it is, I'm still here and I'm glad to be here. That being said, since it is autumn and since I've been feeling like talking about some of these darker things lately, I want to talk to you guys about working with the, the dead. So Pennsylvania German Braucherei does not, in and of itself, have anything to teach us about working with the dead. However, our religions do. Um, for example, well, let me kind of rephrase that. Our folk religions do. In various cultures, probably every culture, um, people have varying beliefs about the ability to contact the dead, ask the dead for favors or information, um, venerate the dead, that sort of thing. Some people say the phrase worship the dead. I don't care for that at all. But you do you. So, anyway, in Pennsylvania German culture, there actually is a way for us to do this. Now, depending on your personal belief, again, we're talking about folk religion. Um, so, folk religion takes the bits and pieces that we know of from Christianity and incorporates them into something that we can use within our own lives to make life better for ourselves and people who come to us for help. Um, that's it. So, when we're talking about working with the dead in regards to Pennsylvania German culture or Pennsylvania German Braucherei slash powwow slash Hexenmeister work, we're really talking about two different things. And I'm going to start with the first thing, which is purgatory. Purgatory is not generally accepted by everyone, like every Christian, but basically what purgatory is that only a very few people actually die and go directly to unity with the divine. Let's just put it that way. So, for the rest of us, the most of us, when we die, we have unresolved business to do. We still have work to do. We still have things to do to get our souls right, so that we can become one with God or become one with the divine. And so that's what purgatory is. It's that in between place. It's, some Christians call it purgatory. Some people call it the realm of the dead or the spirit realm or the summerland or whatever you want to call it. It's where, again, this is just my personal belief. Your beliefs may differ. But purgatory is where when we die, we go there. And we are surrounded by the souls of the people that we knew in life and others that we didn't know, obviously. But there we have to earn that union with the divine, okay? I'm trying to be as non-denominational as possible. Probably failing miserably, but here we are. So, many cultures, probably all, again, I don't know everything about most cultures, have some form of belief that we can contact those who have died. Now, I believe when someone is unified with the divine, we can still pray to them and venerate them and such, but it's a little bit different than when we contact someone who's just dead. We can actually ask them for favors and things to do that can affect us here on the physical plane to help kind of work off maybe some of the bad stuff that person has done in life. So it's, in a way, it's kind of, we help those dead souls progress to union with the divine by helping them fulfill their tasks on that they left undone, or by setting it right by kind of calling in favors. I know what I want to say, and I'm saying it really poorly, but there you go. So, what I just said. So that being said, that's like our ancestors. Who knows how long a soul stays in the realm of the dead, or purgatory, or wherever, before they progress to union with the divine. It could be millions of years. It could be minutes. Like, I don't know. I assume time goes differently there. So maybe what seems to us like they just died 5 minutes ago, but to them, they've been there for a millennia working through something. I really have no idea. So for this type of kind of belief to work, we just have to kind of assume they're on the same time schedule as us. And because we don't know, nobody knows. Literally everything I just said is not proven. It's belief. So like my grandparents, for example, they would be in this sort of in-between place. Yeah, they were good people. They were decent people, but were they like spiritually aware and at one with the multiverse or whatever? No, they're human beings. And so they probably have some things to work through. And so by that logic, I could potentially call upon them to assist me in life. Now, so that's all I had to say about that. So we've already established that there's a belief that there's a place where the dead go. They are not in heaven and at one with, God and the divine and just like become this being of light. They're not there yet. Purgatory is not a place of suffering. It's a place of where you make your soul better. You progress. So who knows what it's like? But again, that's neither here nor there. The fact is, the belief is there's a place, that's where the dead are. Anyway, how that relates specifically to Pennsylvania German culture is that there is an intermediary between us and those people in purgatory. And that is the beloved Pennsylvania Dutch saint, Saint Gertrude. St. Gertrude was German born, like from the 1200s, and she didn't have a great like family life or anything. She was pretty much put into a Benedictine monastery or nunnery, I guess it was, at like the age of 5. So she is known in Pennsylvania Dutch culture as the patron saint of gardens. And in fact, there are festivals and ceremonies done every year. Her feast day is March 17th. It's St. Gertrude's Day here in Pennsylvania Dutch culture. The rest of the world is St. Patrick's Day. We have St. Gertrude's Day. And there are rituals and ceremonies to bless people's gardens and farmlands and such because she is the patroness of, or the patron saint of gardening and gardeners and gardens. She's also the patron saint for people who are deathly afraid of mice and rats, like rodents. And so she can be petitioned to keep those things away from our gardens. Now, because of that, she has by default become the patron saint unofficially of cats. It's kind of adorable. I'm fine with it. So there you go. She's gardening, blessing the gardens, blessing the farmlands, keeping the rodents away, and by default, she is also the unofficial patron saint of cats. So that's very nice. And we celebrate that every year on March 17th. However, there is a side to St. Gertrude that most people don't recognize. And that is the fact that she was a Benedictine nun. In other words, she was a mystic. And as such, she, in death, became the saint who has guardianship over the souls that are in purgatory, and she helps them go from purgatory to heaven. She helps them ascend when they are ready to ascend. There's even, and this is a quick Google search, but I'll try to add something down below or whatever. There's even a specific prayer that you can say in order for her to, in order to tell her, like, to help. I don't know how to say it. It's like every time you say this prayer, she is then able to assist a certain amount of souls up to heaven. So that tells me that, like, while she's the guardian of them and while she is able to take them from purgatory to heaven, she cannot decide to do that on her own. And so there are old Catholic beliefs, like every time the Eucharist is given or celebrated, souls get released into heaven. Every time you say this prayer to Saint Gertrude, souls are able to go up to heaven. I don't know, but hear me out on this, because this is going into the realm of what the fuck is he talking about? Uh, St. Gertrude as the guardian of the souls in purgatory. Great. She's there, and she's like their mother. She's not the protector of them because they don't need protecting. We can't get at them. She is just their guardian. She watches over them and assists them on their upward journey, metaphysically speaking. But if cultures believe that we can contact the dead, and if cultures believe that we can ask the dead for favors, it stands to reason. Again, it doesn't stand to any kind of reason at all. It's all belief at this point, and this is folk magic we're talking about. So, but a petition to Saint Gertrude to retrieve a specific soul from purgatory to make contact with us. She's like the go-between. Just hear me out. In her role as guardian of purgatory, if we were to petition her to reach out to, say, like my grandfather, and I say my grandfather owes me a favor and I need to cash in on that favor, and so she calls forth that soul so he can do this work for me, and that will help him then progress. And so then at the end of that work, I then say the prayer for St. Gertrude to help him ascend. It's all very fascinating to me, and I really feel a good connection to this idea because I've been wanting to speak to my grandparents for many years now. They don't owe me any favors. They don't owe me anything. I was just like making up an example. But I mean, we've all been like my father. I would very much like to call my father, and he does owe me. He does owe me something. And that's private, but I would feel better about it. I would be able to make some peace with it and have some closure, and hopefully that could help him ascend to a higher plane. I don't know if I'm the only one he's wronged, but so there you go. So that's just kind of an example, and I'm just kind of blabbing at this point. So St. Gertrude is not just the saint of gardens and keeping rodents away, and then by default patron of cats. She is also the guardian of purgatory and assists those souls in their elevation to become one with the divine. And I firmly believe that, assuming all of that's true, we can now contact Pennsylvania Germans, well, whoever, whatever. She's not Pennsylvania German. But I mean, she was a Christian woman. She was very Christian. So I believe if we could reach out to her in sincerity, ask for her assistance to speak to somebody that's there in purgatory, and then do what you got to do. I don't have any rituals to offer you. That's up to you. And I would imagine, too, it would depend on the ancestor or person that you're calling from purgatory or from the land of the dead. We'll just say that. What did they like? What would be an appropriate offering that would entice them to come? And, if they're willing to help, or you have to be willing to assist them by doing the St. Gertrude prayer to help them ascend. So that's just where my mind is. That's my line of thinking. I felt long and hard about this. I had to do all kinds of research on purgatory because it's one of them things that, depending on the church you were raised in, they either believed in it wholeheartedly, or they believed it was a place of punishment, or they refused to believe in it and said it was like heresy to believe in it. So anyway, that's that. If you have any questions, let me know. I'm not sure if I'll be able to answer them, but certainly we could have a discussion about it. That would be great. But yeah, let me know your thoughts on it and try for yourself. I mean, like one of my folk magic friends recently said to me when we were talking about something kind of spooky over the phone, and I said, I wonder if that's true. And he said, well, try it and find out. That's the only way you're going to know. You're a magician. You have to experiment. So, and he's right. So here we are. Working with the dead in Pennsylvania German Braucherei, Hexameister work. as one of my favorite YouTubers say. Let's give it a go. But that's it. God bless you guys. Love you all very much, and we'll talk again really soon.